Acha nikuonyeshe.
Hakuna kitu kama hiyo.
Acha nikuonyeshe vile tutafanya. Sheria iko.
Iko sheria.
Chukua simu yako. Kuna toll free number ya EACC, Ethics and Anti-Courrption Commission.
Anti-Courrption.
Dial.
Hebu niambie hiyo namba.
1551. Kipiga kwa ofisi, hiyo ni ofisi.
Kuna
mwenye atachukua ataweza kutupiga.
Wewe utaenda shamba tunataka.
Goja.
Uko hapa bara chikitaudi.
Hello officer. Habari yako? Mimi ni area chief. Sasa kuna shida kidogo imetokea hapa kwa location yangu. Ndio nataka ukuje unisaidie. Kuja. Unajua kwa huyu mzee anaitwa Mr. Yule mzee wa boma hii kubwa anaitwa Mr. Kevutio. Unajua hapo. Kuja haraka sana. Sawa.
Niguo ndimuhore muri aige. Kujeni niwapige mkiwa wengi
Hunyo unajua utashikwa tu na utapelekwa ndani.
Lakini wewe sitakupiga.
Madam Chief, hamjambo. Asante sana. Ni wewe umenipigia simu?
Mimi nimekupigia simu.
Okay. Asante. Na mimi nimefika.
Sasa
nini inaendelea?
Tumekuja hapa. Huyu ni afisa wa mashamba. Amekuja kuelimisha watu habari ya mashamba. Lakini tumekuta huyu kijana anaitwa Hunyo wa mzee wa hii boma. Lakini aliaga. Sasa alikuwa anataka kumhonga ili abadilishe jina iwe yake, title deed iwe yake na asiwe mtu mwingine wanagawana.
Wewe kijana, unajua kuhonga afisa wa serikali ni hatia? Unajua hivyo?
Amehongwa na nani? Wewe umehongwa na nani wewe? Nani amemhonga? Si ni
afisa, ongea. Ati uko na evidence? Tuambie.
Evidence. Yeah.
Hata mimi amenigonga.
Ndani hiyo ni kionjo.
Ngoja, hiyo yote tutasawazisha tu hapa.
Natoa kawe nako. What are you here? Haya.
Haya. Utasema hiyo ni uongo? Si imesikika kwamba ni wewe ulikuwa unaongea hapa. Haya. Wacha niwaambie. Wewe ndugu yake na nyinyi wengine wote. Kutoa hongo ni makosa. Vile kuchukua hongo ni makosa. Na nimeona ofisa umefanya vizuri sana kwa kukataa kuchukua hiyo hongo. Nina hakika hata mambo yako tutajaribu kuinua kule kwa ofisi. Sababu tumeona kwamba wewe ni mzalendo halisi. Haya, wacha niwaambie. Kama una shida yoyote ya kuhongwa ama kuhongana, unastahili kupiga namba 1551. La sivyo utembee katika afisi za EACC. Na kama huko karibu, unaweza pia enda Huduma Center ambapo utakuta afisa wetu hapo katika Huduma Center na atakusaidia. Kwa hivyo kutoa hongo mjue sio maneno ya busara. Umeelewa? Haya, pamoja tuangamize
ufisadi, tujenge Kenya.
Tena pamoja ufisadi, tujenge Kenya.
Mbona ndio hao wasemi? Tuseme pamoja
tuangamize
ufisadi,
tujenge Kenya. Sasa wewe upelekwe hadi police station, alafu kotini, alafu ndio ufunguliwe mashtaka. Mara moja tuende. Beba yeye. Beba.
Kama una hinyati. Ui. Ni wakunya.
Makofi jameni. Wameweza hawajaweza? Bila shaka tumbuizo la kukata na shoka. Makofi kwao jameni. Kinajulikana kama kikundi cha Full Raha. Simepata raha? Full Raha Entertainment Crew. Makofi kwao jameni mpaka wende kakae chini Asanteni sana jameni, na ndio kilele cha tumbuizo letu siku ya leo. Ningependa kabla ya kumpisha mfawidhi mwenzangu ambaye atakuwa anasherehesha na kufuata itifaki kutoka hapo, ambaye ni msimamizi mkuu mwelekezo wa shughuli za nyanjani za EACC Bwana Jackson Muya akijiandaa OGW, au sio? Wacha niseme hapo isije nikamwaga unga. Ningependa pia kutambua uwepo wa msimamizi na mwakilishi wa United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, ambao ni washiriki wakubwa siku ya leo, UNODC, Bi Charity Kagwi Ndongo. Jamani, naweza tusalimia hapo ulipo, tukone kwa mkono. Asanteni sana kwa kumpigia makofi. Alafu pia ningependa kutambua uwepo wa Bwana Paul Muraya ambaye bila shaka ni katibu mratibu ambaye anamwakilisha katibu katika afisi na wizara ya maeneo kame, ukipenda arid and semi arid, Bwana Harsama Kelo. Asante sana. Lakini pia ningependa kutambua uwepo wa kamanda wa polisi katika eneo hili, Regional Police Commander, ambaye ni Bwana Bilidia Ligama. Makofi kwake anaponyosha mkono popote alipo. Asante sana Bilidia. Na mwisho kabisa ningependa kutambua uwepo wa Mudhama wa Mbu ambaye yuko mahali hapa pia, ambaye ni katibu mratibu vile vile katika wizara ya ulinzi. Lakini pia kwa sababu shughuli hii haingefanyika bila mahakama ya kupambana na ufisadi na shughuli zingine za kiuchumi, ukipenda Anti-Courrption and Economic Crimes High Court, wako hapa wanamwakilisha Jaji Justice Esther Maina. Makofi kwao jameni wakiwa hapa. Naam, na bila kupoteza muda, wanaosema staki hata punje ya mtama imshinde kuku kuimeza kwa kuchukua muda wake, ningependa kumkaribisha kwa makofi jameni, tumkaribishe kwa taadhima mwendesha ratiba Jackson Mwe OGW. Karibu sana bwana. Asante.
Thank you, Lofty, for that first part of the program. Now we want to move to the next session, where we are going to hear from our leaders. Allow me to start with protocols. The Governor of Murang'a, Your Excellency Dr. Irungu Kang'ata, the Chairperson EACC, Dr. David Oginde, the CEO EACC, Mr. Twalib Barak, the EACC Commissioners, the PS, State Department for Mining, Mr. Elijah Mwangi, the County Commissioner, Murang'a County, the Deputy Speaker, senior public officials from the national government, senior public officials from the county government, CLIP stakeholders, distinguished participants, good morning. At this point, we want to move to start with our speeches. And the first person who will speak will be the representative of the national government in Murang'a, and this is the county commissioner, Mr. Patrick Mukuria. After Mr. Patrick Mukuria, on behalf of the national government, I will also give 2 minutes to the PS, State Department for Mining, to make a short statement. Welcome, County Commissioner.
Thank you very much. His Excellency Dr. Irungu Kang'ata, the Chairman EACC, Dr. David Oginde, Mr. Twalib Mbarak, CBS Secretary, CEO EACC, the PS Mining, Elijah Mwangi, the representative of the PS Defense, Mr. Mudhama Wambua, representative of the PS Lands, Mr. Malim, Honorable Johnson Mukuha, the Speaker of the County Assembly of Murang'a or his representative, Neil, Regional Representative, African Health, Regional Representative for East African, UNODC, heads of departments from both national government and county government, members of the public, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Patrick Mukuria, the County Commissioner, Murang'a County. And if you allow me, I'll start by introducing my team. We have a person who is representing the Inspector General of Police. Madam, maybe you can come and just mention your name, then maybe the county security team. Just to say your name, please.
All protocols observed. My name is Lydia Ligami, the Regional Police Commander, Central Region. I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to this region, and we are in solidarity with the event. Thank you so much.
All protocols observed. My name is Jeremiah Abuga. Thank you very much. SIP Commander, Murang'a County.
Kipkoskei Daniel from Kenya Wildlife Service, representing Regional Director, Central Region. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is George Etiang, DCIO representing the CCIO. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is a regional team led by the County Police Commander and also the county team. I read my speech, then maybe I'll add one or two things thereafter. It is a wonderful opportunity to be here for this important celebration. I'm aware that bringing together so many stakeholders and individuals from diverse organizations and departments to celebrate an issue of common interest is no small undertaking, and for that, I wish to sincerely thank the organizers of this event, EACC, Kenya Leadership Integrity, County Government of Murang'a, among others. Let me also appreciate the sensitization forums that have taken place for the heads of departments, the human resource officers, and public lecture as a build-up to today's celebration. It is important to mention right from the onset that when corruption permeates the society, then the health of the nation is at risk. Indeed, it is much larger and far more important matter beyond what we see at the moment. Individual responsibility and resolve to fight corruption are a decisive indicator of what the country will look like in terms of our security, peace, stability as a nation. As you are aware, various stakeholders have been tasked with the responsibility of fighting these menace. However, there is always room for improvement in terms of what mwananchi is looking for, without being asked for kitu kidogo. The challenge that are still being encountered by the mwananchi when seeking for government services can be eliminated with all of us with one resolve: decide to say enough is enough to corruption. The government, in its endeavor to improve service delivery, has digitized over 5,000 services where members of the public are able to easily access them. This means to eliminate a lot of human contact, which earlier would resort to citizens being asked for bribes using free excuses like lack of printing material. You remember sometimes back, human contact was very prevalent, whereby, for example, you are working in a place like Turkana. Then you want a service in Nairobi. You are asked to come to Nairobi. They don't want even telephone conversation. They say, tunataka kuonana. You come tuonane. Now this was a conduit for bribe and soliciting for the same. So with digitizing government services, you can easily get service at any place of this country, and thus eliminating corruption. You will go to an office and you are told, oh, we don't have some material, or come tomorrow. And for example, maybe you are looking for a search in land's office. You are told, oh, you cannot get this search. It will take you 3 months. So, and maybe you need to charge your document so that you get money. So you are forced to part with kitu kidogo. So this is very important when the government start digitizing her services. We are urging members of the public to partner with the government in the fight against corruption. In this, we request them to report all forms of corruption by using toll-free numbers provided by the government, by using telephone calls, writing letters, or using suggestion boxes placed strategically in our offices. This is very important to the members of the public. If they can assist us in reporting these cases, because many cases go unreported. You know, corruption takes two to tangle. For example, we used to have organized gangs here in Muranga, and they would ask for money on the road, but then they are no longer on the road. They will go in the evening in a certain place and exchange bribes without our knowledge. Without wananchi giving us such information, it will not be easy to deal with the vice. So that is why we are encouraging them to use all the forums provided to report cases of corruption. The public servants are urged to offer quality service to citizens without giving excuses. The old practice of absconding duty by leaving codes in offices while the citizens are looking for services must not happen. The wananchi is our employer and deserves to get value for money. It is unethical for a public service to receive a salary he has not worked for. This is also very important for us civil servants, because corruption it's not only taking bribes. You may be working, but you are not giving the required service. A person will come to your office, you are not there. You have just hung your coat and left. So you need to account for the salary you are getting from the government. And you can link this one to even drunkenness, where you spend the whole night drinking. In the morning, you are unable to offer service. Hata ukijaribu kuamuka kichwa unashindwa kuamuka because kichwa ni mzito, umelala ukikunywa pombe. Kwa hivyo tukiwa kama civil servants to avoid mambo kama hayo, kwa sababu inafanya tusiweze kupatiana huduma ambao mwananchi anahitaji. Na ndio sisi kama ngao na other government departments tumekuwa tukipigana na mambo ya pombe at the community level and also among ourselves as civil servants, because some of us are in it and we have to see how we are going to deal with it, including offering rehabilitation services so that they can offer quality service. So at the end of the month when they get salary, they can be able to say, I've worked for this salary. So that is a call to our civil servants to be very vigilant. Hata Biblia Bishop inasema utavuna ulichopanda. Usijaribu kuvuna mahali hujapanda. Kwa hivyo tupeane service because this borders on issues of integrity and also the issues of values and principles of public officers as enshrined in the Constitution. because they are very clear, the issue of professionalism and ethical values, they are not allowed. This celebration therefore comes at the right time when all of us have an opportunity to sit back and do a soul searching by asking whether corruption has ever brought any positive results. Instead, corruption has continued to fight back. As a result, the wananchi continue to suffer. I call on all of us to be truthfully adopt the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, theme of uniting the world against corruption to make our county and the country prosper. Once again, I thank the EACC for giving Murang'a this honor of hosting the International Anti-Courrption celebration. I want to take this opportunity to wish all a Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2024. I thank you.
Thank you, County Commissioner, for those remarks. In a minute, I want to invite the PS, State Department for Mining, to come for 1 minute. The speakers will become, take not more than 2 minutes, because we also want the key speakers to be able to reach to our audience at home, because this event is live on NTV. Welcome, PS.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Governor of Murang'a County, Dr. Kangata, the Deputy Governor, the Chair, EACC, the CEO, all of us present. Good morning. Let me take this opportunity to introduce the team who are representing the colleagues in the national government. Representative of the PS is around. Can I start to introduce you, please? You may join us here for just simple introduction. Welcome.
Just the name, eh? My name is Mali Mohammed, Secretary Administration, on behalf of PS Honorable Generali Nixon Korir. Salamu nyingi kutoka Wizara ya Ardhi. Na nimesikia mambo ya ufisadi katika ardhi. Mheshimiwa Governor, Murang'a ndio mahali tunakuja baada ya Nairobi. We want to go digital to make sure the interaction between members of the public and our officers is minimal. So you transact your businesses through automation in terms of titles and in terms of paying revenue. Asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki.
My name is Rashid Khator. I'm a Secretary Administration in the State Department for Agriculture. I'm here representing the Principal Secretary, Dr. Rono. I also wish to inform you that the government is undertaking the subsidized fertilizer project. Be careful. Make sure you give the right details. Do not increase the number of acres, for that will put you in problems. For those who are able to watch TV, you notice that a number of people have been taken to court over the issue of the subsidized fertilizer. Thank you, and let us all stand together in the fight against corruption. Thank you.
My name is Mudama Mambua, Secretary of the Ministry of Defense. I'm here representing the PS, Mr. Mariro, PS in charge of Ministry of Defense. So for the Ministry of Defense, you should be able to, as you fight corruption, you should know that the security is well assured for anyone who is fighting corruption. Thank you very much.
My name is Paul Muraya, Secretary Administration, State Department for Arid and Semi-Arid Lands and Regional Development. I'm here representing the PS ASALS and Regional Development, Mr. Asama Kelo. On behalf of the State Department, we want to say that we are together with EACC. We want to serve the people. And right now we are coordinating efforts for the flooding and the resettlement. Thank you.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. My name is Angei Wamutinda. I'm representing the PS to Tourism, John Olotua, and the CS to Tourism and Wildlife, Dr. Ofat Mutua. Together, we are going to fight corruption and ensure that Kenya is a safe place for all of us and for investors. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm John Gogo from State Department for Higher Education and Research, representing the PS, Dr. Beatrice Nyangala. Together, we are fighting this menace, and we are happy hosting you at this university. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Samuel Mushiri from the State Department of Roads. I'm the Senior Assistant Secretary, representing the Principal Secretary, Engineer Joseph Bogwa. And together in the road sector, we are committed to promote good governance and fight corruption. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Good morning. My name is Jocelyn Menenge from the State Department for Diaspora Affairs. I'm here representing the PS. Thank you.
We can appreciate them better. Well, I'm Elijah Mwangi, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Mining. I'm pleased to join you here as we commemorate the International Anti-Corruption Day. For us, State Department for Mining, we are committed to fight corruption. In essence, on 3rd of October this year, 2023, the State Department submitted a cabinet memoranda which criminalized, and by extension, considered smuggling of minerals as an economic crime. And as part of fighting crime, we want to be transparent. We have developed an online mining cadastre, which is a repository of all mining licenses, such that if you want to apply for any mining rights, you do not need to see anybody. You just go to your system, your computer, your phone, upload some documents, and then on first come, first served basis, you'll be issued with license. 2, as part of fighting corruption, we are digitizing our systems. We have digitized our revenue collection system through our royalty management system, digitized laboratory system through our laboratory management system, artisanal mining system, and the likes, so that we can be able to eliminate that direct contacts between peoples whereby corruption is derived. Of course, we have also formulated a corruption policy. We have a service charter. We have reporting lines as part of this. And I join you in this year as we commemorate and as we resolve to fight corruption together. Thank you and so much. You are so much welcome to Murang'a once more.
Thank you, PS and your team. Next, we are going to have a short statement from the representative of the County Assembly, the Deputy Speaker of the County Assembly, Honorable Moses Ngachui. Okay, if he has not arrived, we are going to proceed with the program. We will consider him as we move along. Allow me at this point to recognize one of our key development partners, the UNODC, and I invite the representative of UNODC East Africa, Madam Charity Kagwe, to come and make a short statement. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Honorable Irungu Kangata, Governor of Murang'a, the Chairman EACC, the CEO EACC, kindly allow me to adopt the protocols that have already been said before, and also to appreciate the Governor for allowing us to come here to celebrate this important day. The International Anti-Corruption Day is not just a normal day, it's the UNCAC at 20 celebration. 20 years ago, the world came together and signed a document that said that this is a threat to the world, not just to this country, it's a threat to the world. And the ratification of this particular this particular treaty is almost universal. That shows how serious the world takes this. Coming down here, we see now that corruption is not just an abstract thing. It is something that goes across like an octopus, an animal that's with several hands, entering each and every department that's supposed to serve the mwananchi. And I believe sometimes the mwananchi does not know how much giving that amount of money is going to affect him. Today, the play that was here was very, very interesting. It shows the culture of trying to corrupt public officials and telling them to circumvent the law without understanding that this is going to impact and affect everybody around them. For example, if that particular officer had circumvented the law, you will find yourself with people committing crimes because they have not had justice. So where you decide to take land away from people who deserve to get it, how many murder cases have we had related to land? There are very many, isn't it? So people need to understand that that little act could lead to some very, very serious consequences. And it's good that we see here under the leadership of the governor that this is something that he is taking extremely seriously. We see your work with digitalization. We see your work at making sure that how resources that are given to the county government go down to Wanjiko, to the person that counts. And that is why the people of Murang'a chose to elect you, because they had that trust that you will make sure that you live up to the promise that you gave them when they gave you your vote. For that, I congratulate you and ask that this should be something that all public officials take seriously. You are here to serve mwananchi. Your position of power is also a position of great responsibility. And for you, mwananchi, your position to be able to demand services and good services is also something that you should take seriously and understand that this is a right that is yours. As people have fought over the ages about their rights, this is one that you should be able to fight for. 20 years from now, people will not look and say, UNCAC at 40, and we still have the same problem. If you ask countries around the world, you will hear that Kenya is supposed to be a wealthy country. We're not supposed to be receiving food help. We're not supposed to be receiving help. But corruption takes money away from the people that should be having it, takes money away from your children, changes weather patterns. If you all remember, during COVID, so much money was taken away. Who was it taken away from? The sick people who needed it. How many deaths resulted in this? So you see that unless people understand that this kind of crime, me giving a bribe, could lead to somebody else having a very serious consequence. There's a bribery act that has already been enacted, but I believe it needs to continue to be reported so that more people are arrested. We saw here the arresting of the particular person who wanted to bribe, and we need more of that. We need more of that. So, who are we as UNODC? We are the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, but we are also the Secretariat of the Convention. Our job is to support the country in accordance with how the family of nations identify this crime and say this is something that needs the whole world to pay attention to. So you are reviewed every couple of years on the way in which you're implementing all the undertakings that were made under the UNCAC to prevent, to educate, and to punish those who are involved in corruption. Unfortunately, the culture in many of our countries has been that people get away with corruption, and I would say with murder, because they do not understand that your act could lead to somebody else having being killed or having serious consequences. Your Excellency, I really appreciate what you told us about the education system, making sure that that is not corrupted and it does go towards those who truly need it. The money is not taken away from the most vulnerable. Because you will see, in most places, the people who suffer the most are the most vulnerable. Will be the children, will be the sick person, will be Wanjiko, will be those people in the village, and all those people who voted for you and entrusted you. So we thank you for making sure that they receive what their children would have, the promise of an education that can lift them out of poverty, that can help this country grow into the country it's supposed to be. I add here that the theme of this UNCAC is something, it's that the UNCAC is something that we all need to take a part to play in. You had all the state officials speaking, but we also need Mama Mboga, the one in the marketplace. We need security officers. Behind me is sitting the representative from the police. We need the politician. We need fathers. We need mothers. We need the youth. We need a corrupt-free nation. And indeed, if this nation is corrupt-free, you will see the poverty that is affecting us and eventually killing us is going to be reduced. We are not supposed to be a third world country. We, with all the resources we have, should be much further ahead. But because of all these holes that come in, that take away from the people what they deserve, we end up finding ourselves in a poverty situation. So here, as we celebrate, we say, we ask you to take the role you're supposed to do. We, as UNODC, continue to support. We, as you can see here, we are in partnership with the European Union. I want to convey their apologies for not being able to come today. But we're in partnership with a program called the Program for Legal Empowerment and Aid Delivery. This partnership is supporting the fight against corruption as one of the very main areas. We have seen unless you support the fight against corruption, you cannot support justice in a country. So we are supporting the EACC and the rest of the partners that work. Remember, this is a threat that we have recognized that is affecting all of us. It has to then be fought by all of us. So it has to be fought by EACC. EACC needs to be supported by the public who will report, needs to be supported by those who are prosecuting, and we saw the Office of the Prosecutor here. It needs to be supported by the judges, and we see here we have judges represented. It needs to be supported by all of us to fight this cancer and what we have called actually as a security threat to this particular country. We all need to get together. I think if this was a war, a real war in which we were fighting, we would take it more seriously. It is because it comes in a seductive way, and so we don't understand what is happening to us. You don't understand that you cannot sleep in more than one bed, despite having so many houses. How will you sleep in more than one bed? We've seen people gathering, almost like gluttony, gathering towards themselves. And then, once they die, they leave their families fighting. So they have left a legacy of war and pain, instead of leaving a legacy of building the country. We will all live here. What will you have done for your generation? What will you have done for us to reach what we have said, the Sustainable Development Goals, where we are able to live together in peace and security? What will you leave for the children that come after this? The mother, the father, the young people, and I saw the very young deputy governor. What will you leave? And we ask you take up that role as young people and fight for the future of this country. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Charity. Now we are going to transit to the keynote speeches, but allow me just before I invite the CEO EACC to just introduce the EACC commissioners. I just want them to, starting from the Vice Chair, you can just stand, Vice Chair. That is Dr. Monica Moiru. She's the Vice Chair of EACC. Commissioner, we have Commissioner John Ogallo, Commissioner Dr. Cecilia Mutuku, Commissioner Colonel Retired Alfred Mushimba. Directors, I can see you are seated together. You can also stand, the directors. Sir, directors of EACC. I have Director David Tor, Legal Services, Director John Lokoloy, Ethics and Leadership, Director Pascal Mweo, Investigations, Director Joel Mukumu, Finance and Planning, Director Jackson Mue, Field Services and Coordination speaking. Now, at this point, allow me to invite the Secretary CEO of EACC, Mr. Twalib Barak, to come and make his speech and continue with the rest of the program. Welcome, sir.
No, it's okay. I think they can hear me.
Okay. Close to this one. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Governor of Murang'a, Dr. Kangata Irungu, our Chairman for the EACC, Bishop Dr. David Oginde, EACC Commissioners. For the rest, let me skip the protocols. Good afternoon. The speech says good morning, so I have to be very careful, because I know it's live. I think this is a very, very great occasion that today we are gathering here, not only as EACC, but all other players in the field of fighting corruption in this country. And we are here for a dual celebration, to mark the International Anti-Corruption Day and also to mark 20 years of the coming up of the United Nations Convention Against Crime. And maybe most of us may not be aware, Kenya was one of the first countries in the world to sign this convention. We also like to thank our partners. We have the UNODC, we have the European Union. They've been standing with us all that time to support us, because as EACC, our act allows us to partner with people who are willing to support us. And I'm not here to campaign for the governor, but there's something very interesting that I would like to mention. We did not choose Murang'a out of just because we want to come to Murang'a. We chose this county, and we went through a matrix. We have, many times we have the most corrupt countries in the world, the most developed countries, the biggest economies in the world. So we took that approach, and we said we are going to classify the counties into the color of the traffic lights. Counties that are in red, counties that are in yellow, and counties that are in green. From the counties that are in green, that is where we will decide to choose which county will host this event. So indirectly, I've told you, this is a green county as far as the fight against corruption is concerned. I remember one of my officers choosing one county. We don't want to spill the beans, but I told him, you go to the report center and check about this county. It will be a big mockery to have this event being hosted by that county. As we are dealing with it, let's look for a county that is green. So, Governor, you earned it for us to be here. It was not just by fluke. I think in my speech, I'll just talk about the progress in the fight against corruption. I have a long speech here, but I will put it aside. I want to be more practical. The issue of fighting corruption in this country is a big challenge. We have to agree that corruption has permeated into all spheres of our life. My chairman is a bishop. Bishop, even in places of worship, corruption is there. Today you walk into a big church or a mosque, you want a position, utaona ile vita itakuwa hapo. Everybody is fighting to be there in that leadership. The same with politics. The politics of this country are changing that if you have a lot of money is when you can vie for a big political seat. I can see the area MP, Honorable Ndindi Nyoro, he has arrived. Now you can see as a CEO, I know he's the MP for this area. There are other MPs, even if you get a gun and tell me this MP is for which county, which constituency, I'll tell you I don't know, because of the good work he's doing. So we are talking of building resilient and empowering government institutions. It's very, very important in the fight against corruption. The EACC, the ODPP, Office of the Auditor General, and I'm saying this, I'm lucky that I'm saying this when the Honorable Nyoro is here, because he's the chairman of the Budget Committee of the Parliament. So Mheshimiwa, tafadhali mtuongezee pesa so that we can go up. We are talking of the media. The media is everything. These are the people who say there's a scandal somewhere. So the media, if the media goes to bed, the war against corruption also end up being chaotic. We need the media, we need the social media. In fact, the social media is the strongest. You see something, you see a senior government officer is putting a very, very big complex. Go, say, this complex is said to be owned by so-and-so. We need an independent judiciary so that these cases against corruption, they are well handled and people see conviction. Other problems that we've talked about, the county commissioner talked, there are other forms of corruption. When people walk into government office, people complain, especially the lands office. There are those ministries or departments which interacts with the public a lot. And that is why you find during the indexing of corruption in government, there are ministries or departments you will never miss. You can bet you will not miss the police. You can bet you will not miss Ministry of Lands. You will not miss Health Ministry. You will not miss education, because these are the core areas where the common man gets the service. So what do we hear as EACC? Almost all counties, governor, all counties, of which in it or land registrar, they slow down processes, they want to be bribed. We are tired of getting those kind of complaints. You go to places like, when it comes to things like the police, getting an OB is a problem. Why should it be a problem? When you ask the person, say, ni mambo nitoe kitu. So, county commissioner, you stood here. Don't allow from here to the main road to Nairobi 3 police roadblocks. Why? Do we need them? Those are toll stations, they are not roadblocks. We know them, they are toll stations. Police roadblocks are not roadblocks. The whole country, they are what you call toll station. When I'm on leave in Kilifi, I don't drive the Prado because they'll know I'm around. I take a simple car, and you can see openly they are taking bribes. One day at Nyali Bridge, I saw a policewoman being given 100 bob as I'm waiting for the light to read green. I feel like shouting at her, but I don't want her to know that I'm the CEO EACC because they will mark my car. We can't allow that because Governor, Honorable Nyoro, that is what makes us to lose in the rating of Transparency International. I've traveled to about 50 countries in my life. One of the few countries in the world where you see policemen openly taking bribes is Kenya. Openly. They don't care. Openly you see them. Before we make the ambush, you see. We record secretly and we show you, look, this is how they're taking money. So as a county commissioner, the head of the county, what do you do with the OCPD? What do you do with the regional commander? Are you not seeing that? Work in partnership. We cannot work alone as EACC. As an institution, we will try to do our mandate, but we need that help from all other angles. Big problem in this country now. Every education academic certificate now is questionable. Is questionable. For your information, I talked about it yesterday. On Friday, I got a letter from the AG's office through mutual legal assistance on somebody who purported to have a degree from Kampala University. He is a CS in a county in charge of mining, and the letter was in bold. This certificate is fake. We managed to capture one. In criminology, say you arrest one. If you arrest one criminal, 9 are on the loose. So, Honorable Nyoro, Parliament, I don't know what will happen, central government, we need to see how to address the issue of fake certificates. Exam cheating. Today, any Kenyan, you go anywhere in the country, you get admitted directly because the Kenyan education system is valued. But with the way we are going on, very soon we'll be declassified and you'll be told, come and sit for an exam before you go to the university, thanks to corruption. So EACC cannot pick all these people. We have to streamline laws on how to deal with fake academic papers. We are talking of political culture. I know, Governor, you are a politician. Honorable Nyoro, you are a politician. The political system must support the war against corruption. As EACC, sometimes we find it very ridiculous. You attend a meeting where you find some senior politicians and they tell you, you EACC, you are not working. And you know that politician has got issues in your office there. Serious issues. You feel like telling him, but you are one of the culprits that we are looking for. But you keep quiet, you know, protocol and whatever. You know, Honorable Nyoro, when you go to Parliament, especially when you are appearing before those committees, you have very special privileges. So it's like a church or a mosque and the worshippers. There was a time I attended a parliamentary Senate committee meeting. Then when I answered them, they said I was rude. So I told them, I thought this is not a church or a mosque where you just listen and go. I also have to ask questions. Because in a church or mosque, whether the pastor or sheikh is talking good things or bad things or nonsense, you keep quiet and finish the service and disappear. So it's very, very interesting. We are talking of the moral decay. The big question I keep on asking people is, why during our time there were no exam leakages and there were no police escort? Exams used to be brought by a Land Rover, the headmaster signs. Actually, they stay in the headmaster's office. The maths paper, CPE, the first day is English and composition. The second day is mathematics and general paper. They stay in the office of the headmaster, some of them with those, we used to have locks called diamond, made in with very small keys, and nobody will break. Today, a container is escorted by GSU, police, NSIS, regional commissioner, and still there's leakage. So moral decay. You cannot blame the government. There's a problem with us as a society. We are talking of petty corruption. People say, why don't you go to those people who are stealing billions? You are just arresting policemen. Do you know the inconvenience the traffic corruption causes to a common Kenyan? Somebody called me sometimes back, because we schooled together in primary. In fact, he called me using my nickname. Say, kijanangu ameshikwa tuk-tuk na polisi hapo haina indicator. Saa 8 usiku. But you know, he doesn't know that I'm a CEO because he looks at me as a former schoolmate. Now you can imagine, a boda is asked to pay 500 shilling by a policeman. That is the whole day profit he was looking for. He is extorted and giving it back to the police. When you do it collectively, there's what you call tangible losses and non-tangible losses. Tangible losses, amepeana pesa. Non-tangible, he has been delayed. Maybe that he would have made 10 trips. He's now making 5 trips. At the end of the day, that person will come with little money, and with the little money, he will spend little, and then the government loses. Because if he was to spend 1,000, if the VAT is 16%, he would have coughed 160 shilling to the cough of the government. But because he has spent 500 shilling, the government got only 80 shilling, thanks to the traffic police. So the ripple effects, they are quite wide. And also the image. The other one, we talk of how do we digitize the devolved government and the central government. We were just at the governor's office, and I was very impressed that he never used ICT expert, but he himself opened the computer and he took us through the automation that they have done in Murang'a County. You can imagine a governor, he can even monitor a county car where it is. Kama imeingia Chang'aa den, he can tell hii imeingia mahali ya Chang'aa hapa. And that driver will be asked on Monday, what were you doing in this Chang'aa den during Saturday? So automation is one of the solutions. Reduction of human interaction helps in the automation, in the fight against corruption. We are talking of family values, cultural values. As much as we are glorifying anything that is Mzungu, please let us take good things from Mzungus, and what is not compatible to us, don't take it. During our time, when we were young kids, if you are caught as a schoolboy secretly you are smoking cigarette, a man will tell you, will call you and ask you, who is your father? So and so. Atakuchapa, na ukienda nyumbani ameripoti kwa mzee kwa hii kijana wako nimemwona anavuta sigara, utachapwa tena. Do we have that today? Of course, kuchapwa is now not allowed now in the new laws. But you see, somebody can ask you, responsibility of bringing, they say in Africa, a child is not brought by a parent, is brought by the entire village. But that one now is gone. Saa hii jaribu kushika mtoto wa mtu kidogo tu ufinye masikio kidogo hivi, utapelekwa kotini. I'm not propagating violence against children, but I'm just talking of the issue of responsibility. We have thrown our kids just to the teachers. Our kids stays with us in our houses, we don't know them. We just meet them during, hata siku hizi hawakuli dinner na sisi. Anakwamba, I'm doing something daddy, I'll come down. So we are in the same shelter, but we don't know these children. We don't know what they do, we don't know what they're performing. You just believe that you have paid school fees and they're having food, you've done your responsibility as a parent. It goes beyond that. So if we don't take care of these children properly, that is why when they grow up, what used to be wrong for us who are old, to them is not wrong. So let us look back, and for the men, mwache kudanganya wasichana. Ukiambia msichana utamoa muoe, si umtie mimba alafu mtoroke. Take responsibility. It is not easy to bring a kid as a single parent. It's very, very difficult. So let us be supportive. Let us try to build the family unit. If somebody is a single parent, let us help that single parent, because that boy or that girl, when he becomes a good citizen, even you who is not a parent to that person, you'll benefit. You'll benefit a lot. Then we look at, lastly, we look at the issue of active participation in politics. Active participation in politics. I am not against the old people, but look here, the governor, I was talking to the governor and I can tell Mr. Nyoro, these are young people with young ideas. Wanataka kuleta politicians ile first government ya Kenyatta ikiapishwa, jamaa ndo alikuwa sijui dio. 60 years later, what new ideas will this person bring? I'm not fighting the old people, but I'm saying get the right leadership. And before I welcome our chairman, it is evident in this country that we have been arguing that one of the reasons the EACC is having a problem in fighting corruption is that the public elect wrong people. The public elect wrong people. Why is this county progressing very well? Why is Kisumu County progressing very well? Why are other counties having multiple and myriad of problems? It's because the citizen elected the wrong people. So when it comes to election, get the right people and you will see development from your constituency, from your ward, from your county. You will see good progress in terms of accountability. So when I talk about all this, in general, I'm saying, as a CEO EACC, and the experience that I've had, is that the process of fighting corruption in any society, whether it's Kenya, Rwanda, anywhere, it goes under 3 pillars. The political culture is very important. Electing the right leadership, like Muranga here. I'm not campaigning for them, but that's the reality. You are talking of the public. Are they participating in the support against corruption? Then you have the institutions. If institutions are starved, they have no capacity, they have no budget, and the only way you know is to say, you guys are not doing anything. You are not helping the institutions. Let us not go again on blame game, blaming EACC, blaming the county government, blaming the national government, blaming the judiciary, blaming the ODPP. That will not help. Let us look at ourselves in a holistic approach. Let us address those issues, and you will see this country will take off. Kenya is a very, very beautiful country. Kenya has got all resources. There are some countries that you go and you wonder how they have developed and they have nothing. Us here, if you ask for desert, we have desert. If you ask for snow, there's Mount Kenya, there's snow. We have everything. We have the sea, we have the port. We have people who are very well trained, very enterprising. Why are we having economic problems? All this is because of corruption. So with those remarks, I would like to invite His Excellency the Governor, who will make his remarks.
So, thank you so much. The chairperson, Bishop David Oginde, and the commissioners of EACC, the secretary and the CEO of EACC, Mr. Twalib Barak, CBS, the leadership of the Kenya Leadership and Integrity Forum, the county commissioner, the deputy governor, the member of parliament of Kiharu constituency, my friend Dede Nyoro. I've seen other members of parliament. I've seen my friend from Mombasa. Can you wake up and clap for my friend? Thank you so much. I'll be calling Dede shortly. We'll then call my friend from Mombasa, and before we call the chair. Also, we have the deputy governor, the honorable members of the county assembly, please, who are there, please, can you be upstanding? Can you clap for them? We have Mheshimiwa Esther. Esther is a nominated MCA representing persons with disability. Clap for her. We have Mheshimiwa Kafera. He is the MCA for Kamauha Ward. Thank you so much. And the chair of trade committee. We have a very good Mheshimiwa Warispa, MCA Kimorori Wempa. She represents members of the county assembly in the public service board of the assembly. Pigia makofi. Then tuko na Mheshimiwa Dunda, happens to be the MCA for Idhanga ward, Iko Gatanga constituency, and the chair of public investments committee of the assembly. Tumpigia makofi. So first, allow me first to welcome you, the entire EACC family, for choosing Muranga. We are very humbled. I know you could have gone to other counties to host this International Anti-Corruption Day, and therefore we do not take for granted your decision to come to Muranga. Thank you so much. We are humbled. Secondly, we also want to thank you for the compliments that you have given to this county. We know we have a long journey. We compete with poverty. As long as there is poverty, because there is poverty, we are still behind, and therefore definitely we will continue as a policy, fight and ensure that we fight corruption and we bring development. So first, as a county, what are we doing to fight against corruption? Number one, as CEO of EACC has said, governments needs to automate. And therefore, Murang'a County has gone strongly towards automating its services. We have automated revenue collection. Now you don't need to go to any county office to get your liquor license, single business permit, to get your building approval, to get your plot transfer. You only need to go to the internet, apply, and then we shall process and give you a certificate. And also, we have automated our hospital systems. And allow me to show you Murang'a County Referral Hospital Automation System. It's called afia.ke in partnership with the Ministry of Health. If you go to Murang'a Level 5 Hospital, like now as we speak here, you can be able to know how many patients are in Murang'a Level 5 Hospital. There are 163 as we speak. Next slide there, it shows what kind of diseases has taken them to Murang'a Hospital. Then there next is how much money has been collected as we speak through M-Pesa, whether waiver, whether through Kangata Care, which is our own internal NHIF scheme, or any other medical insurance cover. Here down on the prescription today, we can be able to know whether there are some missing drugs in our hospitals and which is drug which has been most requested but it is missing. Yes, that part called unfulfilled. That way and that way. Now, Chairman and CEO, we want this system now to go to all 157 health facilities in Murang'a in the next 2 months. Currently, Safaricom is on the ground putting internet connectivity. We have already deployed computers in select facilities. In the next 1 month, all facilities should be having computers. That way, we'll be able to know whether there are drugs in any dispensary, whether the officer is working or not, and that way we shall have reduced corruption in our medical facilities. Related to that, Chairman and the CEO and the congregation, our flagship programs, we have tried to be as transparent as possible. For instance, we have the Kangata Care recruitment. We announce a date. We tell people to go there. We give out a criteria, those who want to join that scheme. Of course, we target the poor, the vulnerable, those who cannot be able to buy medical cover on their own. And like last recruitment, everyone who appeared for our recruitment of Kangata Care was given the card automatically. And that way we reduce corruption because there is no vetting. We allowed almost every poor person who came there. Secondly, things like Uji program, things like, we have another very important program called Murang'a Youth Service. There's a lot of unemployment in this country, and therefore Murang'a decided to establish a Murang'a Youth Service to give young people an opportunity to work for the county, to collect garbage, and also to clean our towns. And every day we give them 400 shillings per day. 100 goes to the parent, 300 goes to the student, to the young person. When we were doing recruitment, we called every young person to come to the chief's office. They pick a paper that is yes or no, and therefore we were trying to promote transparency in the recruitment into that program. Allow me to show you a video that shows how we did that recruitment. If the person who is doing the queuing can do that, yes, we saw that Murang'a Youth Service. Yes, let me show. He is saying read. Listen, he is saying listen.
ID number 279.
This was a place called Muruka in Kandara. So he got the ballot in a free and fair manner. So they are balloting in a transparent manner. Thank you so much. Stop. You can. So when you look at that program, almost 1,000 young people came seeking opportunities, about 30 opportunities per ward. And after we did it in a free and fair manner, there was no single complaint because people saw transparency. And that's our endeavor as a county. The same goes to our own internal processing. We have also automated our requisitions. And therefore, if you're a public officer in the county, let's say a CEC or a chief officer, if you want to requisition money, you no longer have to physically go to the chief officer finance. You have to go to the system, apply for your per diem, apply for whatever requisition you want to do. That way we keep a record of interest or any other supporting documents, and we try to promote transparency. The same also applies to issues to do with procurement. We have decided to be doing open tendering system. We announce all our tenders in our newspapers. People apply, and those who don't get, they get a regret letter, and they are given a reason, and also the opportunity to appeal. And that way, we are happy to report, because of that openness, there was no single pending bill as we crossed over to this new financial year. And our view is that if you do the right thing, you will live a little bit of a comfortable life because no one will come after you. However, and I was telling my friend, the CEO, we know this is politics, and politics is something that every time you're always living on the edge. We know how politics fights began, and therefore we will do our best, but that's not an assurance that there will be no problems into the future. And again, I've also told my colleagues that Mugema Kisifiwa, Tembo Ulitia Maji. So we must not allow whatever little gain there is to enter into our heads. Let's continue innovating. Let's continue coming up with better ideas to ensure Murang'a becomes one of the best counties in this Republic of Kenya. Of course, we are humbled by the awards we got from the Council of Governors in Eldoret. We are also humbled by the recognition we got from Ombudsman, the Commission for Administrative Justice, the other day, because of creating these systems, and also your decision to choose Murang'a. But we believe the journey is long. We believe we have a lot that we need to do so that we progressively make Murang'a a better county. We shall do our best, but we are also religious people. We believe without God, we cannot go far. Allow me now to call my brother Dede Nyoro to give his remarks. Please clap for MP.
Thank you very much, my brother and my friend, our governor, Dr. Iroko Kang'ata, the chairperson of EACC, our spiritual father also, Bishop David Ogide, Daktari, my other brother, the CEO of EACC, Bwana Twalib Barak, viongozi wote, pia tuko na our deputy governor, our PS for mining, Bwana Elijah, all the MCAs who are very good friends of mine. Na pia I have a colleague of mine, Mheshimiwa Munyi, na wananchi wenzangu. Good afternoon. I think before I give my few remarks, I request the indulgence of the CEO that I give a minute to my colleague, Honorable Omar Munyi. Kindly come so that the people of Kiharu and Murang'a can see you are actually here. Tumpigie makofi tafadhali. He's the MP for Changamwe, and definitely, as you can see, my senior, and we learn from each other. Karibu sana, Mheshimiwa Munyi.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Good to see you. Thank you, Mheshimiwa Didinjoro, our Chairman Budget Committee at the National Assembly. I recognize all the leaders who are here just to save time. And I'm happy to be in Murang'a today and to be associated with this good meeting, which is aimed at making our country better now and in the future. But before I say anything, I want to correct the notion that Brother Twalib has actually indicated in this forum, that the old are no longer useful. I want to inform him that I was placed number 10 countrywide as a better performing MP, and number 1 in the Coast Province, beating the youthful MPs. However, of course, when our time comes, we need to give way for the youth to carry the mantle forward. I'm here representing APNAC, that is African Parliamentary Network Against Corruption. We are teaming up as countries in the world in this business of trying to make this world better for everyone. We are all aware corruption makes it impossible for everyone to achieve his potential. It is something that, of course, makes the government unable to provide services to its people. So it is an evil thing that we all need to fight. And I think, Brother Twalib, you need to encourage everybody, including the masses, to fight this vice so that at least it can be ended. Because we cannot just leave the government to do it. We cannot leave it to you, but everybody must participate. And I think it is going to be something that we shall all celebrate if we can see this country free of corruption. We are not actually happy when we see in the newspapers, in the electronic media, seeing every day cases of massive corruption happening in this country of ours. And I think that is a dream that we shall all congratulate Bana Governor, Bana Irungu Kangata. Irungu Kangata has been an MP who is a performer, and is also performing as a governor. I want to promise him, I'll pay you a visit with my constituents to come and see how you are making your county to be among those in the green, light. I'm actually somebody who loves performance. And I think I'll ask you, Brother Ndidi to be present when I visit your constituency, because it is actually the headquarters, and so that we can learn the better practices from you, Brother Kangata, and keep it up. Keep the fire burning. Thank you very much, brother. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa Omar Munyi. First of all, I want to welcome everyone hapa Kiharu. Where you are is actually in Kiharu. The entire Murang'a town is in Kiharu constituency. Karibu sana CEO. Karibu sana chair and every other guest. Secondly, nataka pia niwakaribishe na with a lot of humility kwa constituency ambayo pia tunajaribu sana kuchapa kazi, na nitataja tu machache kwa sababu every time we get an opportunity, it is sometimes good that we shelve politics and talk about issues that we are doing that are changing the lives of Kenyans. One of the reasons why I believe our constituency has been rated to be doing quite well is specifically because we believe opportunities should go to everyone. And the best way to make opportunities go to everyone is to make sure that every other person has an opportunity to go to school. And in that regard, in our CDF, because that is the fund that we actually use to serve the people of Kenya, is that we have been able to do a lot in terms of schools. Bwana CEO, all our public primary schools in Kiharu, they look like academies. All our children go to tiled classrooms, all the 112 classrooms, schools in Kiharu. Also, we have a program called Kiharu Masomo Bora, where we are touching over 13,000 learners. All our day scholars here in Kiharu, they pay school fees of only 1,000 per term. And within that 1,000, they eat in school for 6 days a week, Monday to Saturday, and we have changed the menu. Instead of Githeri every day, they take Githeri 3 days and rice 3 days so that we keep them in school all the days of the week. The other few points I want to touch, which are critical and will be quite fast because we know we are live on TV and we need to give Chairman some time also to talk to Kenyans, is that I believe in the fight against corruption. It is an issue of having a strong state. And if you look at the sequence of a new modern state, it starts by having a country which is just coordinates. But then there is the issue of accountability, that goes to elections that we do, which also I believe the part of accountability is also EACC. Across the evolution of many countries, we see that countries that actually have a strong state before they democratize actually end up having more stronger institutions. Other than having democracy precede a state. Where am I saying so? If you look at countries, I can mention myself because I'm a politician. If you look at a country, for example, our neighbors, for example, in Congo, who are very wealthy, states like even Nigeria, who are also very wealthy in terms of resources, these are countries which, before they had a strong state, they first adopted democracy. What am I trying to say? The point I'm trying to drive home is that we need to continually make our state apparatus strong, because it is the ones that we check through democracy, it is the one we check through infrastructure like EACC. And I believe the evolution of Kenya, every day making our institutions greater, every day refining our institutions, will go a long way in terms of accountability, but also strengthening an institution like EACC. The other 2 points then I cite. If you look at African countries across, all emerging countries, you look at a very funny trend where, yes, I believe the CEO has praised youthful leadership, but you look at many emerging countries where youths are more incentivized to join politics other than private sector. A young person in the US fights their way to Wall Street. The others fight their way into Silicon Valley. But when you come to Africa, even when you have a doctorate in computer science, you look for a way to get elected. Number one is because, yes, we want to serve. But it's also an issue of opportunities. The reason why majority of emerging countries, youth who would rather be in private sector, join politics, allow me to admit, is number one, because they want to extract political rent. You find that there is an easier route possibly to make it in politics other than in private sector. And I think the point I'm trying to drive here is that one way and critical way of fighting corruption is actually making sure that our economies are thriving. It is out of a thriving economy that people can get opportunities from many other areas. You can get an opportunity by just doing business. You can get an opportunity without basically knowing anyone. Because your expertise, your ingenuity, your hard work will pay off much more than you'd extract using the political platform. I hope we are in agreement there, my fellow politicians. Having said that, I really want to laud EACC, and I want to assure the CEO, the reason why we put our commissions under what we call CFS in budget making process is to make sure that your money comes out faster than the other agencies. But we also know that we have had some issues around liquidity and budget as a country, but I assure you before this congregation that we will continue to support EACC in our budget making process. You have also whispered to me that you got a major cut in the supplementary budget. I want to assure you we will pay that back in double portion very soon. It is the same thing we are doing around our judiciary. We have actually upped the judiciary monies by over 30% since we took over. We'll continue capitalizing our judiciary so that it continues to be an independent arm of government to be able to collaboratively deal with corruption issues, of course, with the help of EACC, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, and all the other agencies that are charged in fighting corruption and entrenching ethics in our societies. Otherwise, thank you very much. May God bless you. Please, don't go back to your various homes. Spend your night in Murang'a. We have good facilities here. It is good that you see our beautiful county. Thank you very much.
We now be upstanding for the chair. Yes, Bishop. Then after that, DG will come and give the closing remark and vote of thanks. DG Monani. Thank you.
We may be seated. Because of our time, allow me not to go through all the protocols, but of course I must appreciate our governor for the very, very pleasant surprise that you have given to us on what you are doing as a county. I would really want to see how this can be extended to the rest of the counties because it will make our work very, very easy. So thank you, Your Excellency, Governor Kang'ata, for that great work. And then, of course, listening to the MP for this area, Ndindi Nyoro, amazing insights. I wanted to hear more from you because those are great, great insights on what you are doing as a constituency and, of course, even at the national level. I want to appreciate all those people who have made this possible. UNODC, thank you very much for being our continued supporter in this work of fighting corruption and in enhancing integrity. The International Anti-Corruption Day is marked annually by those people who have signed the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, generally known as UNCAC. This was unveiled in Mexico 20 years ago in 2003. And therefore, this year marks the 20th anniversary of this particular convention. And today it is running under the theme, Uniting the World Against Corruption. The main objective of this, marking this day, is to reflect on the achievements, the milestones, the challenges, opportunities to fight against corruption in order to determine more appropriate strategies to combat the source and place of corruption globally. This is the reason that we are gathered here today, here in Murang'a. Murang'a is hosting us, but really this is a global meeting that is recognized across the world. Significantly, the convention is the first binding global instrument that deals with corruption across the world. And it is noteworthy that Kenya was the very first to sign and ratify the convention, at that time led by the then Kenyan Minister for Justice, Honorable Kiraitu Murungi. With great passion as he stepped forward to sign this convention on behalf of us,
as a country, he said something that really caught my attention and touched my heart. And let me just quote what he said. For us, Kenya, the fight against corruption is a matter of life and death. It cannot wait for tomorrow. We believe we are doing the right thing by ratifying this convention today. It is not by accident that Kenya has become the first nation to sign and ratify the convention. The country has become one of the most corrupt nations on earth. Let me pause there and end his quote. The reason I bring that quote is because I would like us to reflect on the words of our leader, Honorable Kiraitu Murungi, when he passionately uttered these words 20 years ago in Mexico. One of the first thing he says is that for us, Kenya, the fight against corruption is a matter of life and death. A matter of life and death. I wonder how many of us believe that the fight against corruption is still a matter of life and death. When we observe how some of us respond to the fight against corruption, it leaves one with the impression that we are merely playing games and that corruption is not such a serious matter. In recent past, we have witnessed some of our members of parliament who are here represented by our MP Ndindi Nyoro, of course not him, but his colleagues, who sponsor motions to dilute the effect of fighting corruption. One such proposed amendment was seeking to remove procurement breaches from legal redress and place them under administrative action. Another seeks to exempt any person who has been convicted for corruption to be free to serve in public office. In the conflict of interest bill that is going on before the House, there are attempts being made to water it down so that public officers can still trade with government. Furthermore, we have seen political parties, certain communities or regions gang up against law enforcement agencies when a corruption suspect is being arrested or is being questioned. The impression given is that we do not believe that the fight against corruption is actually a matter of life and death. But fellow Kenyans, the single most dangerous calamity that this country has ever faced is not HIV/AIDS, it was not COVID-19, it is not drought or famine or floods, it is not even the post-election violence that we experience once in a while. The single most dangerous thing that threatens our very existence as a nation is corruption. And so I agree with Kiraitu Murungi that the fight against corruption is a
The Eldoret Technical Training Institute, ETTI, offers students an opportunity to explore their career growth in a unique and friendly learning environment. Join us this Friday, 15th December 2023 for our 9th graduation ceremony at Central Primary